What's going on, beautiful people? You saw the title. It's story time. Today, we're going to talk about love. It's all about love today. But before we get into that, I want to thank all of my new subbies for joining the gang. I don't know what we're going to call each other, but thank you for subscribing to my channel. And for all of my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate you. So, bruh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it. I'm keeping it. Let me go ahead and get this together real quick. There we go. Well, as I was saying, for all my returning subscribers, thank you so much for tuning in, and I appreciate you guys very much. So let's get into the video. All right, so we're talking about love, how I manifested love. So, okay, so if you guys have been following me for a minute, and I tell you guys that I'm crazy about the law of attraction and personal development, self-development, self-love, all that good stuff, right? And I just believe in incorporating those practices into our mind, our body, our spirit, and our lifestyle. So let me just kind of take it back a little bit before I tell you about how I met my boyfriend and how it all came into play. So last year, your girl was having a good time, okay? Not necessarily like with a lot of people per se, but I was just really enjoying my quiet time. You know, I'm a believer. When I get out of a relationship, I usually take a break. I chill for a minute. I believe in the reset. I think that's very important in terms of trying to figure out what went wrong or some of the things that I could have done better in the last relationship, and ultimately what I want to create going forward. So, pretty much I was on this streak of just not really dating at all. I just wanted just that time to myself. I was telling people I was single on purpose, and that meant a lot to me. It meant that I didn't have to dedicate my time to anyone else at, you know, in that particular space in my life, and I could focus 100% on me and actually kind of put together like, what is it that I want to create in a relationship. So fast forward 2020, I made this intention that I was gonna move to Atlanta, which I live in Atlanta now. I moved here on August 1st, 2020. So I'm very, very happy about that. We'll talk about that probably in another video. But yeah, so I said I wanted to move to Atlanta, and I did. And it's so funny. Everyone kept saying, oh, you're going to move to Atlanta. You're going to forget about us. You're probably going to get married or something. I'm like, nah, it's all good. I'm going to Atlanta. All this great opportunity. You know, I'm really ready for something interesting to happen to my life. But there was something else that I did. I said, you know what? I need to be a different person. I need to switch gears a little bit. And I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of stepping outside of the box and doing something I wouldn't normally do. So during that reflection time, after I moved to Atlanta. But yeah, after I moved to Atlanta, I really started feeling like, you know what? I want a committed relationship. I think I'm ready for a committed relationship. So there were already someone I was talking to at the time. And he wasn't ready. He just wasn't ready. He was not ready. I know why he wasn't ready. I'm a big believer that everyone is you pushed out. So because I was in limbo when I first met him, I had already put out in the frequency and the atmosphere in the universe that I was in limbo. I didn't know exactly what I wanted. You know, some days I wanted to be in a relationship. Some days I just didn't feel like being bothered, to be honest. I just loved focusing on, you know, building my career. You know, I started a speaking career and a coaching career, and that was just something I just wanted to just focus on. I didn't want to be in a relationship. So I decided, okay, this is what I want. I want a relationship. I talked to the guy about it, and bruh said he wasn't ready. So at first, I'll be honest, I was a little hurt. But then I said, you know, everything happens for a reason. I did put this into play because I'm a believer that we create everything we go through. So I said, there's no need for me to blame him, but I'm going to respectfully, just understand his wishes, wish him the very best, much success, prosperity, and great health. And I'm going to move forward. So, I was, in Atlanta, I'm like, I don't really know anybody here. I know collectively, maybe 5 or 6 people, but I only hang around like 3 of them. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to get on Zeus and Match.com. And yeah. I got on Zeus, I got on Match.com, and I had this, I don't know, I was just in a good spirit. I was like, you know what, my life is great. I'm enjoying myself here in Atlanta. I might as well just go with the flow and get on Zeus and Match. And if I don't meet the one, if I don't meet a partner, then I'm gonna meet a lot of awesome people that I can just build a friendship with and a connection with. So throughout the process of meeting, because I met a lot of people, throughout the process of meeting these people, they were always saying like, so what is it that you want? Like, what type of guy are you looking for? And what's interesting is that's why, words create. They freaking create. I kept saying, oh, you know what? I just want to build friendships right now. Do you want to build friendships? But I guess I did it that time because I just kept saying it. So everyone I met, there was this big con. It was just like, nah, we'll just be friends. But then I just kind of had this epiphany. And this was maybe like in the 3-4 week mark. This was right before my my first subscription was up. So I canceled the Zeus, no hard feelings. And I was gonna cancel Match, right? But I forgot. My subscription was, I thought it was up on I think October 13th or whatever. And it was actually up on the 11th and I didn't know. And it got me for another month. And I was like, dang, here I am, I paid like another almost $50 for another month. But I was like, you know what? Everything happens for a reason. Everything is always working in my favor. So I let it go. So maybe a week into the 2nd month of working with Match, I made this statement, and don't y'all judge me. But I did. I just looked at the relationships that I respected and that I loved and that I thought were just really dope. And this was on the outside looking in. Like, I don't know majority of these people, but it just seemed like these women had worked on themselves so much they had created the perfect guy for them. And I felt like I had done the same. I've been practicing self-love and learning more about my creative power probably for the last, almost 7 years. So I said, okay, oh, and God forgive me, I burnt myself. So if you see that, it's healing. So I said, you know what? I said, God, you brought Megan Good, Devon Franklin. You brought Sierra Russell Wilson, and you brought Brittany, which is my cousin, Brian. So I know you have something for me. And it was just very pure, very authentic, and just real at that time. But the dope part about it was I wasn't attached to it. Like, although I wanted to create it, I wasn't attached to it. I was like, you know what? Hey, I'm just going to hang out on Match, for another 30 days. And this is the thing. I was barely on it. Barely. I think I checked into Match the 2nd month, I don't know, probably like maybe 2 or 3 times. I was unenthused. And I was like, I'm just going to let this month ride. And I'm about to meet my man at the grocery store. Well, lo and behold, my subscription, I said, let me go ahead and cancel this sucker ahead of time because I don't really want to pay another month. So it was so awesome. When I looked at the date that my subscription was up, it was November 11th, 11/11. So I said, well, that's a pretty powerful, angel number. So that must mean something. So I get this hit. This is like 6 days before the end of my subscription. And it was this guy. And I was like, oh, he's a cutie. Little pecan tan. He was really, really cute. So, and you know, I wasn't seeing that a lot. So, he gave me a heart. I guess you can heart each other. So he hearted me, and then I hearted him back. And he reached out, and you know, he was just like, you know, hey, I would love to just get to know you. So I was like, cool, you know, call me. So gave him my number. And the first time we talked for about 2 hours. And I was like, wow, this feels, it felt familiar. It didn't feel like I was meeting a new person. It felt like I had known him forever. And guys, I'm sorry if it's like shaking. I have my phone propped up on my couch. So I want this to be a very like real video, not propped up and all that stuff. But yeah, and we talked for hours. And I said, okay, this feels good. So I said, well, we'll see how this thing plays out. Still wasn't attached. Not attached at all. I was like, you never know. Probably could have met a new friend. We'll see what happens. So the interesting part was, of course, you guys know that I'm very descriptive when I'm manifesting something. So of course I said more than, you know, God, you know, you gave Megan Devon Franklin and Sierra Russell Wilson and Brittany Bryant. Like, of course I wrote down and I stated what I wanted in this person. I wanted someone who was naturally romantic, someone who had a big heart, someone who was open and vulnerable and willing to express themselves. I was like, you know what? I've manifested a lot of relationships in the past where I had to lead. I had to give full instruction. I felt like I was on a job, to be honest. So I was like, you know, I don't want that anymore. I want someone who is already established, who have themselves together. I don't really have to teach them anything. I don't even have to teach them how to love me. They just know how to do it naturally. And I know for most people that sounds far-fetched, it sounds unreal. It seems like there's just no way you can manifest that. Well, I did. And I wanted someone who knew exactly what they wanted. And like I said, I know the power of the law of attraction. I also know the power of intention and the power of just really having this desire of being straightforward. This is specifically what I want. And he showed up. And let me tell you the awesome part about it. I told you I was kind of like nonchalant. Like, okay, we had a great conversation. We'll see how it goes type of deal. What made him stand out was it was the very next day. He called me and he said, did you enjoy our conversation last night? And I said, I did. It was really good. He said, which parts? And I was like, oh, okay. You know, I'd never been asked that before. I know that seems like really like, oh, girl, whatever. But no, like he seemed really interested in what I thought about our conversation. I told him the parts that I loved the most. And then he said, well, since you had such a great conversation with me, why didn't I hear from you today? I was like, oh. I was like, well, you know, I was just kind of reading the room, you know, just giving you some space, you know. Wasn't a big deal. And he was like, well, no, I'm interested in you. I'm not getting back on Match. And I was like, wow, okay. All right, well, I'm interested too, you know, let's just talk it out. But since that day forward, we have been like a moth to a flame. Like now we're in a committed relationship and he's just a really, really, really dope guy. Now this video is not to brag in any way, but it's definitely to give the example that we create every nook and cranny of our lives. I mean, it was just like I said, last year, I was in limbo. I didn't know what I wanted. Therefore, I met people who didn't know what the hell they wanted either. You know, and even getting on Match and Zeus and stating that, hey, I just want to meet friends. I just want to build friendships. So that's exactly what I did for about a month. I just built friendships that eventually phased out because I really didn't want to build that. I wanted a committed relationship. And then, you know, as God would have it, as, you know, the universe would have it, you know, Match, you know, got me for another month. But it was a blessing in disguise because that's when I met my boo-boo, my little pud. Yeah, so, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that tonight, guys. I know it's Vlogmas or whatever, but I love story time. I think stories are very influential. I think they have a way of inspiring us to keep going or to keep believing that we truly can manifest the things that we want. So yeah, the girl has manifested love, honey, and I'm happy. Very, very happy about it. So I just want to share that with you guys tonight. Thank you so much for watching my channel, and thank you so much for supporting me. There's more to come. And I'm definitely holding myself accountable to create more videos, produce more content, and definitely check out my Instagram. I'll be back on there as well. But yeah, that's the story tonight, baby. So manifesting love does not have to be as hard as we think it is. I'm actually gonna make a video on how to manifest a specific person, because I've done that in the past as well. But this time, you know what, I just trusted God. I trusted the universe. I said, you know what, exceed my expectations. And it's definitely exceeded. So I will check back in with you guys probably tomorrow. My goal is to produce a video every day for the month of December. Pray for me. All right, guys, you have a good night. Love you.